Qiyu accidentally crossed paths and became a player in the Haima Group. While the protagonist was still playing cards to save the world, I had already accumulated billions of assets with my vision of leading the world for 20 years. Playing cards. It's just a means for me to accumulate primitive capital. Chapter 1. Crossing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My name is Qiyu, 20 years old, and I am a card player. I have just returned from the military. Itchy and unbearable, I went to the card store to play for a while because the other side was mocking and talking trash, but I couldn't hold back my temper and beat up the despicable fat house on the other side. He actually beat my boxer with tears and said a bunch of trash, shameless and shameless. Damn it, how can we tolerate it? Must fight. During the fight, I accidentally broke the statue of the god of dueling, offended the god of dueling, and was punished by the god of dueling before being sent to the world of the Game King. The god of dueling warned me that only when I sincerely awaken and comprehend the soul of dueling, can I go home. But the god of dueling is absurdly wrong. This polluted world has already polluted my soul, becoming a king and defeating enemies. In order to win, I can do anything I can to understand the spirit of dueling. With a flash of white light, I was teleported to the world of Game King. At this moment, I am dressed in a suit and leather shoes, wearing black sunglasses, standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom, and my appearance has not changed. 7 parts Wu Yanzu and 7 parts Ping Yuyan, with a height of 182 centimeters, a body full of tendons and 8 abdominal muscles. Fortunately, I am still so handsome. The god of dueling has a bit of conscience, and the peerless face that should have crossed the tribulation has spared me. A guy in the same suit, leather shoes, and black sunglasses rushed into the bathroom and grabbed me, running out. Qiyu, you guy, the team leader is urging us. I don't want to be implicated by you and lose my job. I asked, who are you? Who am I? I lost my memory after using the restroom. Me, Bao Tian, did you forget? The man chattered incessantly, dragging me to a short winter melon in the same suit and shoes. Bao Tian nodded and bowed in front of AI Donghua, apologizing for me. Private Marseille, Qiyu just came from the countryside and doesn't understand the rules of the road. AI Donghua said, let him be smarter in this task. You two don't need to take action this time. You just need to build a strong presence in the back. AI Donghua once again shone a bright pistol on Bao Tian's waist, indicating that he was definitely confident in this mission. I'm not the first chef, that anime is too old, the plot is just a little familiar. I only started playing the 5th generation animation, and in my eyes, the 1st generation animation was just a mouthful. If possible, I would let these primitive people experience the power of the boxers. Afterwards, Bao Tian was responsible for driving, and I sat in the co-pilot thinking about the way out. The team leader, AI Donghua, was organizing his deck in the back row. Undoubtedly, it is the worldview of the Game King, and even a miner's hobby is playing cards. This is called Toyo City, and it is the place where the protagonist Muto Games and the Seahorse Seat Man first met. 20 years later, it is also the place where my favorite 5DS plot appears. Along the way, I took a rough look at the appearance of Toyo Market, which was similar to the real world, except that the decoration of the street-side shops was too colorful, and there was no difference. The identity assigned to me by the god of dueling should be the minion who kidnapped Chicken Sauce in the first episode. It is impossible to comprehend the soul of dueling. Since the god of dueling has given me this opportunity, I must make good use of it. How could I, who knows countless subsequent plotlines, honestly play cards? Playing cards is just entertainment, of course, choosing to make money, gain power, and play with women. In no time, the van arrived at a brand store. In front of Donghua and Bao Tian, it is just an ordinary brand shop, but it is a holy land in the hearts of countless anime enthusiasts. I followed the dwarf winter melon and walked in. I am ecstatic to see Chicken Sauce myself soon. We, the three gangs, were armed and commissioned by the Haima Group to forcibly invite Chicken Sauce. Chicken Sauce, with its back to us, was wiping the glass in front of the counter. It was noticed that someone had entered and warmly welcomed us. Ai Donghua said, "Our young master Haima invites you to a duel, Mr. Mudo Shuangliu." Chicken Sauce, of course, he doesn't want to talk to the three of us who have ill intentions. He has seen Haima, a young man with an extremely dark heart. Last time I lost face and couldn't replace the blue-eyed white dragon, this time it must be a comeback. Chicken Sauce replied, "I still need to see the shop. Forgive me for not being able to have a pleasant duel with young Master Haima." The dwarf Winter Melon signaled for us to take action. I am a handsome man from China. How could I bully an elderly man in his 70s? I can't bear it. I can't stand this short Winter Melon team leader for a long time. My backhand was a military punch that knocked the short Winter Melon to the ground. I knew he had a gun in his hand, so I immediately used ground arrest techniques to handcuff the dwarf Winter Melon and unloaded his gun. How can a gun be used in the world of Game King? This is a children's animation, bastard. Bao Tian was stunned by my rebellious behavior. Qiyu, who came from the countryside, looked like a different person today and even beat up the team leader. Hurry up and persuade me. Qiyu, don't be impulsive. The team leader usually treats us well. Last time we were invited to go karaoke, did you forget? I am Li Qiyu, not the original Qiyu in your world. Stop me and fight you together. Bao Tian did not continue to speak up. Afterwards, I instructed Mr. Mudo Shuangliu to tie up the dwarf Winter Melon with a rope, and of course, I put away his pistol. This is a good thing for me to explore the world in the future. After finishing everything, I became eager to implement my plan. There are only 4 blue-eyed white dragons in this world, and their value is immeasurable, at least worth 87 million. As a good man in China, of course, I won't force others to bully an old man. I want to win the blue eyes and white dragons of Chicken Sauce before the Haima Seat people. I stood in front of Mr. Mudo and said with righteousness, "Actually, I am a dueler. I want to." Chicken Sauce waved its hand and said, "Qiyu, right. You're right to reform yourself, but don't lie to the old man. When I was young, like you, I never gave up on achieving my goals. You have already been blinded by benefits, but in fact, you are also here for blue eyes and white dragons, right? Was my performance seen through before it even started? Hey, old man, can you stop being so shrewd? That's right, I'm for blue-eyed white dragon. I need money, a lot of money. With money, I can establish myself in this world. Actually, I am not from this world. I came to this world because of the punishment of the god of dueling. Do you believe it? Chicken Sauce did not question my words, but chose to believe them. Young man, the world is full of wonders. When I was young, I also experienced generous waves. Even if you say you are an alien, I believe it. Although I know you have ulterior motives, this blue-eyed white dragon was given to me by a very important good friend of mine. It is as important as a good friend. In my eyes, he is not just a simple, dual monster, but a witness to my friendship with good friends. I heard the words of Chicken Sauce, and felt a little touched in my heart. I remembered the face of my comrade bidding me farewell, and the first card my cousin gave me when he took me into the pit. It seems like it's also a blue-eyed white dragon, with a price of 50 cents for 3 at that time. At this thought, I smiled bitterly and said, "Mr. Mudo, I can understand your feelings. But I really need this precious blue-eyed white dragon. Chicken Sauce seemed to see through my inner thoughts, and with a resentful smile, he said, "I can see that you are not someone whose heart is shrouded in darkness. This blue-eyed white dragon seems to want to go with you, and its fate has become bound to you. I can also give it to you as a gift, but in return, you must help keep an eye on the store for a year and also clean it up. Would you be willing to?" I didn't expect this chicken sauce to be so generous. It really gave me the blue eyes and white dragons for free, so I quickly agreed. Isn't it just a one-your job? I can. Who can earn 87 million yuan a year by working? Chapter 2. Leading Group. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. In the end, I let go of the team leader and Bao Tian. I'm not afraid they will cause trouble again, and I didn't return the pistol to them. So, I settled down at Mudo Shuangliu's store. 3 meals a day, including meals and accommodation, without any salary. On the first day of construction, Mr. Mudo Shuangliu gave me the blue-eyed white dragon. Through the glass cover, I can clearly see the blue-eyed white dragon as the golden light reflected by Ryaka, noble mortal bones, dragon race, 3,000 attack points, 2,500 defense points. She is truly the wife of Haima, so handsome. Blue-eyed white dragon gives me motivation to work every day. Due to my excellent sales performance, the business of the brand store has been very good recently. Every day, there is a constant stream of customers coming to the store. In order to promote the cards in the chicken sauce store, I went to great lengths to promote them without any conscience. Look at these noble 6 stars, and also at the terrifying composition and thought-provoking description, they must have great potential. What do you mean by offensive and defensive power? Of course, the lower the better, preferably below 1,500 points. We will definitely search for powerful cards below 1,500 points in the future. Buying these high-star dual monsters now is definitely worth it. Whether it's giving gifts during festivals or collecting cards, they are all the top choices. Unconsciously, I have been in the world of Game King for 5 days, and today is Saturday. Mr. Mudo Shuangliu said his precious grandson will bring his classmates back to the store to see him today, and asked me to go to the neighboring cake shop to buy some snacks to entertain them. I selected 4 strawberry cakes and hurried back to the card store, only to find that the main group had only 2 people, not 4. Within the tall city of Huangmao, there is an Ibua with millennium building blocks. Chicken Sauce introduced my background to the 2 of them, saying that I used to be a gangster, but recently I have changed my mind and come to the store to work. Aibo is kind-hearted and doesn't dislike my background. Instead, the city feels that I have ill intentions and is a bit wary of me. But when I sent out the strawberry cake, their guard disappeared, and high school students were really easy to fool. Wuting Shuangliu just picked up the goods from the dealer and gave me a stack of Dual Kingdom Selection Tournament posters to post in the store. He has poor waist and back, so he can't push himself up and down for high-intensity work. I was young and strong, and soon I put up the poster. Upon closer inspection, I found that the championship reward was 3 million yuan. Eating cakes in the city and seeing the huge prize money on the poster, I was moved. I know he also has a seriously ill sister at home, and he wants to help his family raise her medical expenses. Game, please. Anyway, I want to win the audition. I didn't expect Ibua to kneel down inside the city. Aibo said, but time is not enough. There is only 1 month left until the selection competition. It's already too late for me to teach you dueling monsters now. After a moment of thought, Mr. Mudo Shuangliu said, Qiyu, these days I've been watching your sales in the store and I understand that you're also an excellent dueler. You and the city are both fond of money. Why don't you teach the city with the game and do special training for the city this month? Aibo heard that I was also a dueler and warmly invited me to join the special training team, saying, Qiyu, please take care of me. I took the initiative to shake hands with the protagonist Ibua and said, please take care of me too. Within the city, there were 2 experts, Aibo and I, who gave us guidance and reluctantly agreed. In the original plot, there was a special training session under chicken sauce in the city, but the game did not pass yet. Of course, I do not allow the duelers I have trained myself to fail even the limited selection competition. This month, every time after school, the protagonist team would come to the card store, and I took the opportunity to conduct special training with Aibo within the city. To do a good job, one must first sharpen one's tools. Aibo and I each helped set up a set of card decks within the city. Aibo has set up a set of Warrior Axe King cards for the city, all of which are miscellaneous fish monsters. I really don't know if Xiaobiao really doesn't understand, or if it's advanced black. The card sets for the city are really poor. I didn't mistreat the city. According to the rules of the first generation, I set up a mixed deck for him and arranged for him to have all the strong popular cards on the market. Summoning of Demons, High-Tech Flying Dragons, Electric Flowing Dragons, Millennium Shield, Unity Power, Magician Power, Forceful, Black Necklace, Resurrection of the Dead, Angel's Charity. Although Puka was cheap, it still spent all the savings in the city in the end. The city also asked me why the monster cards given to him by the game were very handsome, while the cards I gave him were either ugly or terrifying. Is it because my level is not as good as the game? I'm really angry. Are these ancient players all the same? What I have set up for you are all numerical monsters, and you don't even like them. Do you want to save your sister? I had no choice but to deceive him and say, in the city, cards all have souls. Monsters that seem evil and ugly may have a kind heart. Just like you always have the image of a delinquent teenager in your daily life, but I can feel the kindness in your heart. After hearing my words within the city, I was deeply moved. Before, no one could truly understand him, and in front of everyone, he would always be the strongest one. The appearance is just his disguise, and from a young age, his family was poor, so he could only protect himself through disguise. In high school, he became good friends with games because games showed his kindness and exchanged his sincerity for sincerity. The city said, Master Qiyu, I apologize for your recklessness just now. I shouldn't doubt your judgment. It's my honor that you and the game can provide me with special training for free. Private Marseille. If you really think I'm right, then you should trust me unconditionally. I will now teach you how to correctly summon the dueling monster, and use the magic card. Within the city, I suddenly felt that my sister Shizuka's illness had been saved, and I was deeply grateful and repeatedly thanked her. After setting up card decks for the city, Aibo even practiced duels with the city every day. Of course, Aibo uses his own deck, and within the city, only Aibo can use his deck, with a score of 6.4. I watched while taking notes of my thoughts and experiences. The rules of ancient times were not perfect, they were simply a verbal attack on the heart. The text in the effect column will be selectively invisible to them. If I really play a game with these primitive people, I should be so angry that I can lift the table. I will also train duels within the city, using mainstream mixed fish on the market, and let the city use the set I set for him. The rules he was taught were not the first generation's beard, but the first generation's master's rules. Starting from monster cards, it usually involves summoning and higher level summoning, as well as special summoning and fusion summoning, and then discussing card decks, venues, health, special victory methods, priority, and so on. The city was dazed by 2 sets of education methods, and in the end, Wu-Ting Shuangliu found out about it. Chicken Sauce gave me an overly advanced evaluation, saying, everything has a process from chaos to rules, and now dueling monsters is still in its early stages. It's best for us adults not to forcefully intervene in the rules of children, but to let nature take its course. Wait until the International Illusion Society issues unified official rules before explaining these advanced ideas. Chicken Sauce always gives me an unfathomable feeling. What did he experience when he was young? I only had 10 days of special training in the city, and my teacher identity was dismissed by Chicken Sauce. For the next half-month, Aibo will be providing special training for the city, and I have a bad feeling in the dark. Chapter 3. Warhorse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. During the special training period of Aibo in the city, Haima Group came to visit again. The 2 failures made Haima realize that this wooden double 6 is not suitable for both oil and salt, and can only use soft ones if not strong enough. Last time, Haima Group planned to use gangster means to directly tie up the chicken sauce, but this time it was Haima young master who came directly to visit. Amidst the crowd of his subordinates, the Haima seat people arrived at the familiar card shop and looked around without seeing the treasure of the town shop. This time, the main characters are all present, including Apricot, Honda, and City. The 4 players in the game won't let them be so arrogant. AIBO said, "Haima, please go back. We won't give you the blue-eyed white dragon." I saw that Haima had finally taken the bait, and I was worried about not having a chance to get rid of blue-eyed white dragon. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but we can't let him run away. I said, "He doesn't know about the game. Mudo Shuangliu has already given me blue-eyed white dragon. If you want it, can you ask me? Haima has never seen me before." The person in black next to him quietly told him about my background and smiled, "So it's a small underworld. Do you know the strength of my Haima Group in Tomia City?" I laughed and said, "Of course I know the strength of the Haima Group. How could I learn Wuding Shuangliu to offend young Master Haima's mold?" Haima saw that I was quite interesting and said, "Do you want money? You can make a price." I stated my position in a righteous manner and said, "I heard that young Master Haima is also a dueler. Why don't we have a duel? If we lose, I'll offer you a blue-eyed white dragon with both hands. If we win, you'll give me 10 million. A blue-eyed white dragon worth 10 million is not excessive, right? I know the position of white dragon in the heart of Haima. It is currently the early stage of dueling monster, and there are not many gold lords willing to buy dueling monster for 10 million. Haima is now what I consider a fat sheep. I have to rely on him to provide my original funds." Haima burst into laughter and said, "Zaxiu, just because you want to win against me. I am a genius who has won the World Chess Championship with an IQ of 150. 15 million, the extra 5 million will buy your life. If you lose, not only will you be presented with a blue-eyed white dragon, but I also want you to be a guinea pig in the biological laboratory of the Haima Group. If you win 15 million, it will be yours. Do you dare?" Haima even dared to raise his hand, giving him 5 million yuan for free. I couldn't refuse it, so I quickly agreed, afraid he would back out. The duel venue is still a 3-dimensional mobile field of the Haima Group, which is similar in size to a football field. The first time I saw it, it was very shocking. The world technology of this game king is much stronger than the real world. Haima subordinates aimed their close-up shots directly at Haima, giving the young master face. Haima laughed wildly and said, "Do you see? This is the strength of Haima Group, and it's just a drop in the ocean of Haima Group, miscellaneous repair. How could he pretend to be coerced alone?" I held up the precious blue-eyed white dragon, and Haima's subordinates foolishly shifted the camera onto the card. This is the only 4 blue-eyed white dragon in the world, and many people will never earn its value in their lifetime. I calmly stuffed the blue eyes and white dragons into the deck, ready. Haima sneered and thought to himself, "What's so remarkable about a blue-eyed white dragon? I have collected the remaining 3 in the past half-month. 3-on-1, you will definitely lose." Both sides are full of confidence. The duel begins. Haima stood there dumbfounded, and I took advantage of him not paying attention and shouted, "I'll attack first." This is momentum. When playing cards using unknown village rules, momentum is particularly important. When I was young, I knew this way very well. I drew 1 card from the deck, and there are a total of 6 cards in my hand. White Dragon got his hands on it, got stuck, but didn't get stuck again. I summon Blue-Eyed White Dragon, in an attack state, cover 3 cover cards, and the turn ends. A 3-dimensional image of a large blue-eyed white dragon appeared on the field. Strongest Gorgeous Invincible pretending to be forced in front of the president and summoning his wife first, will he have a feeling of second marriage? I can't help but feel a bit amused. It's the turn of the seahorse. Haima looked at the 6 cards in his hand and laughed wildly, as if crazy, shouting, "Qiyu, let me show you the ultimate dragon that surpasses the blue-eyed white dragon." I activate magic cards from my hand, merge. A huge yellow-green vortex appeared in the center of the venue. Sleeping trough, how is your luck? Isn't there a shuffle? The president raised the 3 blue-eyed white dragons on his hand and shouted, "Summon a fusion, the ultimate dragon that surpasses the white dragon, my strongest servant, the blue-eyed ultimate dragon." 3 blue-eyed white dragons appeared on the seahorse field, flying into the vortex. In no time, a larger 3-headed giant dragon appeared in the vortex, which was the blue-eyed ultimate dragon. The attack power reaches up to 4,500 points. Perfect invincible strongest, my momentum on the scene has fallen. Haima shouted, "Ultimate storm bullet." This shout startled me. The president wouldn't have used that card, the ultimate storm bullet, to knock me down, would he? Fortunately, Haima just shouted casually. There shouldn't be such powerful cards on the market yet, and the rules are not yet perfect. If I really want Haima to do digging God, I won't even accept death. I'm not afraid of a whiteboard with 4,500 attack points. With an unstoppable aura, I also shouted, "Open the backcourt deck, trap cards, and the Messenger of Harmony." By discarding a hand card, the opponent's monsters will receive 0 combat damage in each turn. I choose to discard the Dark Demon Clan Kilfa Demon on the handle and send it to the cemetery. After being sent to the cemetery, the Dark Demon Kilfa Demon can be used as an equipment card to equip a monster on the field, and its attack power can be reduced by 500 points. Number 34, I choose it to be your blue-eyed ultimate dragon. Number 34, the Dark Demon Clan Kilfa Demon is bound to the blue-eyed ultimate dragon like a gladiator, making its movements very slow. Then a light film appeared on the field, protecting our blue-eyed white dragon on the field. The blue-eyed ultimate dragon's jet of light was completely blocked by the light film. Now there is only a village rule of 2000 LP. If this attack were to pass, it would be a big joke and become the second shame of the crosser. Haima remained calm and said, "Trash, weak, you're lucky this time. The next round is your deadline." The seahorse covers 2 backyards and the turn ends. Now Haima no longer has a hand, I can confirm that he must have a backhand. If he can speak freely, he must have some reliance. My turn. Draw cards. I shouted. Damn it, playing cards with people from this world is so tiring. I have to shout out everything I do. But when I think about it, it's really passionate. It's been a long time since I felt so refreshed. It's not like being crazy in a real-world card store, talking, playing, and then throwing coins. This is the his mother duel. Yada, Haima, you're dead. Chapter 4. You have no next turn. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What I drew was a big storm. Perfect hand. The president laughed heartily at this moment, as if he had already won. I laughed at your mother, I drew a big storm, see if I don't blow up all your backcourt. When the time comes, you'll just have a whiteboard called, Blue-Eyed Ultimate Dragon. Can you still laugh? It's so difficult, this dual platform is too far away from him. I really want to educate the president about what card lag is. After seeing me draw a card, the Haima's man immediately said, "Open the backcourt deck, destroy wheel. Destroy a monster on the monster field and deal damage to both players' attack power." The horizontal groove is the original version of the destruction wheel. The president will not choose the precious blue-eyed ultimate dragon, but my blue-eyed white dragon. Since ancient times, the destruction wheel has always adhered to the defense wheel. Haima Lazy Man then activated another cover card. Defense wheel, which can reduce the damage of trap cards to 0. Qiyu, you have already lost. The loser should look like a bereaved dog, and eat 3,000 points of damage from blue-eyed white dragon. Well, this is what the president said, I haven't had the next round. In the case of only 2,000 LP health, the move of president is always disadvantageous. The whole audience was surprised. This battle has exceeded the imagination of everyone present. As soon as the Seahorse set man appears, he is relentlessly chasing and attacking, even summoning a 12-star ultimate monster. Now it's just the early stage of the battle monster, and 4,500 points of attack power really startled the onlookers. The subsequent combos of Destruction Wheel and Defense Wheel also stunned Chicken Sauce and AIBO. This flexible combination of magic cards and trap cards completely broke through the dimensional wall of this period. "Qiyu, I know you can do it," cheered the Chicken Sauce loudly. The city also agreed. "Master, I also think you can win." I looked down at the audience and gave them a response. All 6 cards were revealed. "President, you should lie down now." On the duel field, a Destruction Wheel was transformed and worn on the head of the blue-eyed white dragon, while the Defense Wheel was firmly blocked in front of the president's console. Before killing someone, one must also take the heart out. I smiled slightly and began to pout. "Haima, don't you know that the blue-eyed white dragon is crying? In order to win, you can even blow up the blue-eyed white dragon. What do you want your 3 blue-eyed white dragons to think? I not only want to win this game, but also let you know that cards have souls." Haima looked at me talking in his sleep, and Jia chuckled strangely. "What kind of soul talk? You have already lost. In 1 second, if the destruction will explodes, you will receive 3,000 points of damage. Solovedokana." I opened the backcourt cover and said, "Activate my body as a shield. When the opponent launches a card with the Destroy Monsters on the Field effect, pay 1,500 LP to render it ineffective and destroy it." I certainly know that the president has a blood-cutting combination and has been prepared for it. In this environment without divine declaration, I found that the early single card that could counter the combination of the president was my shield. A true dueler will not make the duel monster cry. I will bear the damage. The Destruction Wheel was unloaded from the neck of the blue-eyed white dragon, and my health was only 500 points left. The president could only console himself and say, "The noble blue-eyed ultimate dragon has 4,000 attacks. As far as I know, no dueling monster can surpass her at this stage. She is my strongest wall. Your miscellaneous fish can't break through it all." I chuckled and said, "Haima, you don't have the next round." I launched Greatness from my hand, and in situations where my own health is lower than the opponent's, the attack power of equipping monsters increased to twice the original attack power. I equipped it for my blue-eyed white dragon. It's not over yet. I'll launch another giant from my hand to equip blue-eyed white dragon. The body of the blue-eyed white dragon on the field has expanded several times, and she has surpassed the blue-eyed ultimate dragon. Since blue-eyed white dragon cannot surpass your 4,000 point wall, let her step on my shoulder and surpass your wall. This is the bond between me and blue-eyed white dragon. The audience below were all stunned. Even AIBO, who had remained unmoved, exuded an expression of admiration. Blue-eyed white dragon has an attack power of up to 12,000 points, far ahead. No, it's impossible, I can't fail. Haima's mentality has shattered, and years of elite education have made him arrogant. Today, he surprisingly lost to an unknown gang thug. I commanded the blue-eyed white dragon to give the president a final blow and shouted, "Destroyed spray of white light." The massive blue-eyed white dragon fired a deadly light wave at the blue-eyed ultimate dragon, dealing 8,000 damage. The Haima seat owes me 4 lives. The president lost to me before he even challenged the invincible game of Mudo. The Jaime's person knelt on the ground, crying bitterly, with cards scattered all over the ground, even 3 priceless, blue-eyed white dragons, scattered on the ground. After I stepped down, Chicken Sauce and the city praised me for my strength, saying that I was a dueler who could understand the soul of the dueling monster. The bond between blue-eyed white dragon and me exceeded the predetermined fate, referring to being killed by the ultimate dragon. Indeed, in the main plot, she was personally torn apart by the president and criticized by countless first-generation anime chefs. The success of this verbal firecracker helped me establish the image of a top-tier powerhouse in the hearts of everyone. Have I finished pretending? No. I not only want to kill, but also choose to forgive. President, this fat sheep cannot afford to fall into a slump, and the main storyline will depend on him in the future. I walked towards the opponent's dual platform, and the president signaled to his subordinates not to obstruct. The loser should have the appearance of a loser, and it was predictable for the victorious me to mock him a few times. I helped the president pack up the cards on the ground, then squatted down and gave him a slight smile, saying, "I'm so happy to duel with you. You're also an excellent dueler." Haima Lazy Man was surprised. Is this man named Qiyu crazy? Shouldn't winning a duel be endless ridicule? It is natural for a king to succeed and a traitor to defeat. Can you get up now? I reached out my right hand to pull him up. The president did not refuse, but also extended his right hand and stood up from the ground with my strength, then remained silent. I returned the president's deck to him and also gave him my blue eyes and white dragons. Qiyu Jun, who are you? Of course, I have returned the item to its original owner. What does it look like to hold the blue-eyed white dragon? Isn't this destroying the original plot? Even if I don't like the first-generation anime, it's only reasonable for blue eyes and white dragons to be in the hands of President. Although there is a high probability that he will still tear her up. I smiled at him and said, "Make friends with 5 million. I am very generous with my friends. This blue-eyed white dragon should be my friend's gift for you. Now you owe me 20 million, remember to pay me on time." Haima Jun, I'm too his mother gay. I'm so embarrassed for money. 20 million, that's 20 million. As long as I scare the president, he won't realize my true purpose, which is to eat 2 fish with 1 fish. After speaking, I greeted everyone with chicken sauce and happily returned to the card store. Run away after finishing the game, showcasing the demeanor of a master. President, you must give me money. If you don't give me money, my performance will be ruined. Haima looked at my departing figure and smiled, "Are you friends?" I never thought I could still have friends. Ha ha ha. He ordered someone to individually pack the blue-eyed white dragon that I gave him, display it in the bedroom, and take care of it carefully without any damage. Chapter 5. Going to the Kingdom. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The president sent me 20 million cash on the second day of his defeat. It wasn't until I saw 20 million yuan in cash that I truly realized how huge it was. I can definitely use this money to live in seclusion in the countryside and live an ordinary life. Of course, I wouldn't choose that. My wish is to become the world's richest person, with countless tickets, countless girls, and countless yachts and luxury cars. 20 million, say more or less. According to the values of Game King, I can use this money to start 4 businesses, which means I can start 4 small companies. Of course, it's not urgent now. I need to stay at the brand store of Mudo Shuangliu for at least a year. Chicken Sauce also did not oppose my behavior of giving blue-eyed white dragon to Haima. This card has always been a symbol of friendship, and it can bring light back to Haima's originally dark heart, which is also a good thing. I can only say that Chicken Sauce is really accurate in judging people. When he was young, he really experienced big storms. The main storyline remains the same, but the city has been heavily trained by AIBO and has not even passed the qualifiers. He deeply regrets not letting me continue teaching him. Everyone is sitting in the living room, and now on TV, the final of the Dueling Kingdom selection competition between Insect Feather Moth and Dinosaur Ryasaki is on stage. The chickens and vegetables are pecking at each other, so there's really nothing to watch. Chicken Sauce. Carrying the package to the living room. The original main storyline has been changed, and now that I have defeated the president, it is highly likely that Beccas will come towards me this time. People who possess the 7 artifacts have the ability to pull them into the dark game, and I dare not provoke them. If it's really my package, I won't open it, whoever I love. Chicken Sauce told Ibwa that there is your package here, but there is no sender. What? Surprisingly, Beccas is still looking for a PK with Mudo Games. The world line has not changed. His purpose this time is too obvious, he came for the 7 divine weapons. AIBO opened the package, which contained dueling gloves, 2 stars, and a videotape. I absolutely can't let the Chicken Sauce get hurt, this old man is good to me. I want to stop Beccas's conspiracy. AIBO picked up the videotape and showed it to AIBO in the city, maybe there was information about the sender inside. I asked AIBO to put down the videotape in his hand and said, "Game, I have a premonition. This videotape will bring misfortune to people, so it must not be played. Since I defeated the president, I have had a high reputation in the hearts of everyone. In order not to disrupt the subsequent plot, I continued to add, this glove is the dueling glove, and the 2 stars are points. These are all competition props for the Dueling Kingdom competition." Xingzi said, "Qiyu, you know so much." AIBO curiously put on the dueling gloves, put the stars inside the gloves, and asked me, "Is it like this?" "That's right, that's how I brought it." Honda asked skeptically, "Qiyu, how do you know so much insider information about the Duel Kingdom competition? This has stopped me from telling the truth, and I can only continue to lie. Did you see that silly dinosaur on TV? He is my biological nephew, and he told me the inside story after winning the top 16 of the national competition. Master, he doesn't look like you at all. Look at him, he's almost being killed by the insect feather moth," chuckled the person inside the city. I quickly explained, "He's also a half-hearted person. Losing is not unjustified. The Dueling Kingdom will contact outstanding duelers from all over the world to compete, and it must be because they discovered the extraordinary features of the Mudo game that they sent these props. Afterwards, invitation cards should also be sent, and those who can win can receive huge bonuses." Upon hearing the huge prize money, the city immediately regained its fighting spirit and said, "Games, I also want to go to the Dueling Kingdom." AIBO generously took off his gloves and put them on inside the city, saying, "Inside the city, it's my fault for your failure in the selection competition this time. If Qiyu had taught you from start to finish, maybe you could have appeared on TV and received a prize. I know you need money so much, there must be some unspoken truth. Since you speak up, let me give you the opportunity to go to the Duel Kingdom this time." Sleeping Trough, how can this be done? If Mudo doesn't participate in the Dueling Kingdom game, the main storyline will be even more chaotic. I will be able to become rich and prosperous in the future because I can predict the direction of the next 20 years. If Dueling King is not Mudo game, will there be Battle City, even the second GX, and the third 5DS later? No, absolutely not. Return to the main storyline for me. I continued by adding, actually, you can share the stars with others. As long as there are stars, you can board the ship. The organizer will not make it difficult for you. Picking a star from the city and returning it to AIBO, he said, "Partner, we can go to the Dueling Kingdom together. With your company, I will definitely win the championship." AIBO took the star, hesitating whether to go or not, then turned around and gave it to me, saying, "Qiyu, I think you are more suitable for teaching within the city than me. Why don't you lead him to win the championship in this competition?" During the month of the qualifiers, I realized my own strength, which was really misleading. Since seeing your duel with Haima, I finally know what it means to have someone outside of you, and to have heaven outside of you. You may be the best teacher. How can I catch this star? It's like grilling me over a fire. I can only continue to deceive and say, I know so much, but it's actually thanks to my nephew. I have promised to assist him in winning the championship, and in return, he will find a way for me to get the qualification. See you on the field. As opponents, you must be careful. I returned the stars to AIBO with a confident expression. When the crowd dispersed, I secretly brought the video to burn, and keeping it would be a disaster. Beccas, who was far away in Las Vegas, suddenly saw the changes in the world line. The originally single straight line became complex and varied, and he said, "I am truly the holder of one of the 7 artifacts, the Millennium Building Block, who can actually change the world line. If I could have all the 7 artifacts, maybe I could resurrect my beloved Cynthia." I don't know what Beccas, who is thousands of miles away, is thinking. Now I just want to avoid going to the Dueling Kingdom. In the original work, there are a lot of ghosts and gods on the island, including Moran, Shady, and Beccas, which one is easy to provoke. I am now someone with a huge sum of 2,000 million yuan, and I cannot afford to lose it until I have spent it all. The next day, Chicken Sauce solemnly told me, "Yesterday you secretly burned the videotape, and I saw it all." I felt malicious intent emanating from the videotape. I believe this competition is extremely dangerous. I have a request that I hope you can agree to. I don't have to think about it, but I know he wants me to take care of his precious grandson, Wooting Games. Hurry up and say. "Old man, I know you're worried about your grandson, but this journey is dangerous and there will be many supernatural, terrifying phenomena. I'm afraid." Chicken Sauce, seeing my honesty, he didn't ask me about the cause and effect. After all, he is someone who has seen big storms. He dug out an old dagger from the miscellaneous room of the card store and gave it to me, saying, "This is the dagger of an ancient tomb raider that I accidentally obtained while traveling to Egypt when I was young. The locals say it can protect people from the curse. Thanks to it, I am able to survive every time and turn bad luck into good. How about giving it to you? So you don't have to worry about those supernatural phenomena, as long as you can safely bring my grandson back." I looked at the dagger, which was actually made of crystal, and suddenly remembered the theatrical version of the Pyramid of Light. It seemed that all the artifacts of the King of Light were made of crystal. Very good, this deal is not a loss. With this dagger, I am completely not afraid of those 7 artifact holders. Where is the Dragon Pond and Tiger's Nest in the Dueling Kingdom? It's like a treasure trove of opportunities. As long as I finally save Beccas, the president of the International Fantasy Society, in the world of Game King, both of the most famous companies have my connections, and with their connections, I can instantly double the 20 million. I want to be Steve Jobs and Musk in the world of Game King. I want a beautiful car. Chapter 6. Robbery. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The giant ship heading to the Dueling Kingdom docked at the dock of Toyo City on time, and I followed the protagonist group to the dock. There is already a sea of people here, and there are still many familiar faces in the crowd, such as Insect Moths, Dinosaur Dragon Saki, Peacock Dance, and Moliang. I am fully prepared to go to the island this time. Crystal Dagger, Pistol, Emergency Food and Medicine, Marching Kettle, Military Boots, Camouflage Clothing, Mountain Pickaxe, Military Shovel, Military GPS, and more. If I don't say this is the world of the Game King, I am just a real wrestler. Chicken Sauce is truly someone who has experienced great storms. With just one phone call, I have prepared everything I wanted. If I had known that Chicken Sauce was so versatile, I should have asked him to prepare some heavy firepower for me, at least a Barrett. You said I don't know how to use it. Don't joke, playing cards is just a hobby, my job is a veteran. If possible, I will immediately run to punch Naya and kick Dazi, as long as they exist. The organizers of the competition stood on the giant wheel and announced through a loudspeaker, "Selected duelers, welcome to the special competition organized by Phantom Industry Company. All of you here are outstanding duelists carefully selected by us. Opportunities are fair to everyone. Now, the glory shines above your heads. Alright, duelers. Crossing the sea, fighting for honor, let's set off together for the Dueling Kingdom. All invitees are full of passion and morale is high. To board the ship, you need to show the stars, and everyone will smoothly board the giant ship like the main storyline. I'm different, I'm not in a hurry, I'm robbing, no, I'm saving them. The Dueling Kingdom is filled with ghosts, snakes, and gods. These ordinary people are not allowed to be eaten or wiped clean on the island. It's better to rob their stars now than to die in the dark game. I really cry to death for my good deeds. This is already the 17th underage I robbed. Is it really good that you didn't have a guardian to accompany such a terrifying activity? Give the stars to my brother, I promise not to hit you. You're afraid of me, saying I have a gun in my hand. Don't be afraid of the child, this is a model prop. This is a children's animation, how could there be violent scenes? Hey, it's a bit sad not being able to save all the miners. I only collected 34 stars, a small bag full of them. I chose the last time to board the ship, and before boarding, the inspector was very surprised and asked me, "This contestant, many contestants have reported you robbing stars. Can you cooperate with us to investigate?" I enlarged my approach and said, "Report me. How could I be so bored as to grab someone else's star? Don't delay me from boarding the ship. This giant ship is about to set sail, you need to investigate. You can investigate as long as you want after boarding the ship." The inspector's supervisor saw that I was so difficult to deal with, dressed in camouflage clothes, and most likely a trainee, so he had to recognize me by pinching his nose. The above clearly states that the voyage of the giant ship cannot be delayed, and with so many participants, it may not necessarily be this man who snatched it. After the inspector's supervisor left, I handed a small bag of stars to the inspector for inspection. "Nima, you said you didn't grab it. Everyone else only has 2, and you're so confident in your bag." I saw the inspector's eyes twitching with anger, and after the inspection, he boldly boarded the giant ship. 17 underage people who were robbed by me on the dock were so angry that they cried and pointed at me, saying, "It's this man who stole my star. How can you ignore it?" With a roar, amidst the cries of children, the giant ship set sail. After boarding the ship, I was directly invited to the captain's cabin, and the competition organizers asked me to hand over all the extra stars. The competition stipulates that each player must hold a maximum of 2 stars, otherwise the fairness of the competition will be lost. Anyway, the robbery was entirely out of kindness. In order to do good, I painfully handed over 32 stars to the staff. These staff members are also quite civilized and did not forcibly search my package. Although I may not seem like a serious dueler at first glance, the giant ship is owned by the free United States. The right to privacy is protected by the Constitution, who dares to act? On the south deck, I found AIBO in the city, they are blowing the sea breeze. Peacock Dance noticed me and walked up to greet me, "Are you the man who defeated the seahorse? I've heard of your story." This is my first time appreciating the Peacock Dance up close. She has a tall and curvaceous figure, with blonde hair and heavy American makeup. She has 2 big white rabbits on her chest, squeezed by a small corset. She is wearing a purple leather jacket, a sexy purple short skirt, and high boots. Fair skin and frivolous behavior. I immediately took a liking to this lady, she's not bad, she will definitely be in the harem in the future. I immediately put aside my lustful thoughts and said, "That's right, it's me. My name is Qiyu, and I'll pay more attention in the future." Peacock Dance said, "As long as there is a man in front of me, I will not let water flow. You will definitely be defeated by me. Remember, my name is Peacock Dance, and I am the woman destined to defeat you." After speaking, Peacock Dance turned around and left gracefully. This woman is interesting and arouses my desire to conquer. It's not a matter of time to delay, and I will slowly pursue it. Damn it, what are you doing with Peacock Dancing but in the city? That's the teacher you booked. I kicked him on the buttocks inside the city to make him sober up. Ibwa and I went to Daetongpyu in the city to prepare a bed for the night, but we saw Hanyu Moth and Longchi at the door. These 2 people in the anime are like conjoined babies, always causing trouble for the protagonist. I gave them a glare and scared them away. They are both middle school students, and in order not to disrupt the plot, I didn't rob them. Now I have a bad reputation outside, the knight can stop crying, and the children on the giant ship can slip away quickly when they see me. Master, that seems to be your nephew, said the city. I retorted directly, I can't recognize my nephew. Don't worry, make the bed quickly. The people inside the big shop are all discussing decks and exchanging cards. This makes the city itch in my heart. I don't want him to cause trouble. Hurry up and sleep peacefully. Tomorrow, he will have to go to the island for a duel. Ibwa couldn't sleep either. He insisted on playing cards within the city, and I had no choice but to follow him. I didn't expect Feather Moth to be so clever in organizing the deck. In the main plot, it is here that Feather Moth throws Exodia into the sea. Fortunately, Feather Moth sees me here and dares not make mistakes. The great main storyline always likes to repair the original process in a strange way. Do you want to lose Ibwa's Exodia? There's no door. Someone must have instigated the Feather Moth to do this. Now it's me who defeated the seahorse, and there are also people targeting AIBO, which is clearly aimed at the holder of the 7 divine weapons. The insect Feather Moth saw that the operation was difficult to succeed and had to retreat to his luxurious private room. He called Beccas and said that the operation had failed. In the dueling kingdom, Beccas received news from the Feather Moth and saw another fluctuation in the world line with the Millennium Eye. This time he confirmed one thing, it was the man named Qiyu who disturbed the world line, not the magic of the Millennium building blocks. A rural thug who defeated the young master of the Haima Group and had the ability to disrupt the world line is really interesting. Chapter 7. Zhan Moliang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At midnight, Ibwa and Chengniai finished their training. I saw that they were really struggling to play cards and almost didn't fall asleep. Playing cards happily, Ibwa specially gave soul cards such as Time Magician and Baby Dragon to the city, but I didn't stop them. Anyway, the plot always goes in some strange way. The city also explained to AIBO the reason for participating in the competition, which was to raise medical expenses for their sister at home. To be honest, if someone in the city asks me for it, I will definitely give it to her. It's not that I want to become his brother. Law, that's too harsh. It's just that I've experienced the pain of being short of money, and it's only right for the master to help the disciple. In the latter half of the night, Xingzi and Honda actually swaggered into the big shop, possibly because I drove away some contestants, and there were still vacant seats in the big shop. I ignored them and slowly fell asleep, holding my luggage. The next day, at 10 o'clock in the morning, we finally arrived at the dueling kingdom. This place should be in a tropical region, with abundant sunshine and a dense variety of plants. The roads on the island are all built very flat, like a tropical tourist park. My equipment seems to have no use. As long as I am not embarrassed, it is others who are awkward. Beccas received all the contestants in the courtyard of the kingdom and explained the rules of the competition. Within 48 hours, only those who had gathered 10 stars could open the gate of the courtyard, and those who had lost all the stars would be forcibly cleared. Many people have mixed eyes, so I allowed the protagonist group to move freely. Anyway, I distributed positioning devices to everyone, so if something happens, I can arrive as soon as possible. As for the reason for leaving the team, it's just to support my precious nephew, Dinosaur Ryazaki. How can an uncle rest assured that his nephew will spend the night alone outside? What should he do if he encounters bad people? After I left the team, I headed straight towards this goal, Moliang. If I were to evaluate who is the toughest and strongest boss in the dueling kingdom, not Beccas, it should be Morian. In the old anime, Mori is not an obedient kid, but rather uses the Millennium Wisdom Wheel to defeat many innocent contestants and Beccas in the dueling kingdom. The 1000-year Wisdom Wheel is also the most evil among the 7 divine weapons. After defeating Moriang, the dueling kingdom has completed half of its mission. Once Wang Xiang defeats Beccas, you can go home happily. I didn't see Mo Liang in the courtyard square. With the bait of AIBO, I'm not in a hurry and the fish won't take the bait. After 3 hours of the game, I finally used a telescope to discover Moliang, who was secretly following the main characters. I caught up with Moliang and stopped him, saying, "Are you Moliang? I know you are the user of the Millennium Wisdom Wheel." Upon hearing the 1000-year Wisdom Wheel, Moliang, who was originally friendly, instantly changed his face and his expression began to look grim. "You're the one who's been making a name for yourself lately, it seems you know quite a bit. It's not good for ordinary people to know too much." After speaking, Moliang suddenly launched a dark invasion on me. I only felt a headache in my brain, and the crystal dagger in my hand suddenly emitted light, blocking the special mental attack of Morian for me. It's so suspenseful. I didn't expect the holder of the 7 divine weapons to launch the dark invasion without playing cards. Fortunately, I had the dagger given to me by Chicken Sauce, otherwise I would have fallen into this kid's hands this time. Upon seeing the sudden light of the crystal dagger in my hand, Moliang seemed to think of something and said, "I didn't expect you to have the legendary power of other civilizations as well. It's interesting. Interesting, Nima. If we meet, we will kill each other. This son must never be left behind." I immediately pulled out a pistol from my waist, American-style living quarters. Unexpectedly, times have changed, adults. Moliang's evil soul is not a fool. Of course, he knows the power of a pistol and raises his hand. With this shot, his body dies and he has to be sent back to the underworld. Collect all 7 divine weapons and forget about it. Moliang raised his hand and slowly approached me, saying, "We can work together. I have a lot of ancient secret knowledge. If Nima, at first there might have been some help, but now I just want you to taste the power of Chinese military martial arts." I took out a finger tiger from my bag and stared fiercely at Moliang, making him nervous and scared. He turned around and ran away. "Go ahead, how can the physical strength of ordinary high school students in Zone 11 match mine?" I stopped them halfway. I pinned this kid to the ground and hammered him. "Dark games, right? I like to torture people, right? I don't study and come to participate in competitions, right?" I kept muttering words in my mouth and turned Moliang into a pig's head. The boys in Game King don't learn well and run around aimlessly every day. If they have some special abilities, they come to harm society. At least he has a serious job, while the rest of you are safe terrorists. I am tall and powerful, lifting up the half-dead and lifeless Moliang. With such a beating, I must be unable to rise again. Game King. But children's anime, of course I can't give up. Following the path, I arrived at a densely populated area, and nearby staff immediately ran over. If there are injured players in the competition, that's okay. Hurry up and save them. You came just in time. This person inexplicably rushed out to grab my star and was subdued by me. I immediately began to confuse black and white. Anyway, Moliang has fainted now. The staff looks familiar to me. Isn't this the guy who robbed a miner last night? I will reserve my opinion on your testimony. There are currently injured personnel, and we need you to go to the security room to inquire about the situation. In the Dueling Kingdom, our International Illusion Society has law enforcement authority. Anyway, I know very well that Moliang came here illegally. I checked his luggage and didn't find any invitation cards or stars. If we were to be deported back to China together in the end, it wouldn't be impossible. My mission to protect the game of Muto has been completed. The other characters who appear are just stepping stones for Wang Xiang to embark on the path of the Dueling King. I believe in the magic of the main plot. For the next 2 hours, I was locked in the security room and supervised by 2 staff members. They confiscated my personal belongings and surprisingly found a handgun inside, so they reported it layer by layer and stabbed it to Beccas. Beccas is preparing to meet me and see what kind of people can disrupt the world line. In no time, he arrived at the security room, Beccas sat directly in front of me and said, "Mr. Qiyu, it's nice to meet you. Allow me to introduce myself again. My name is Beccas J. Croverdo, and I am the president of the International Illusion Society and the organizer of this competition." I looked at the Millennium Eye under Beccas's disheveled hair, without a crystal dagger in my hand, and dared not continue to maintain an arrogant attitude. I thought it was just a small matter like hitting someone that wouldn't disturb Beccas, but I didn't expect to end up facing the owner of the Millennium Artifact. "Danger," I said, "you are the president of the International Illusion Society, Beccas. I often see you on TV. You are a world-renowned figure, and the development inspiration for the rumored duel monster is what you came up with. We duelers really need to thank you very much. By the way, my name is Qiyu and I am an ordinary dueler." Chapter 8. Meeting with Beccas. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Beccas instructed the staff to turn off the surveillance cameras in the security room and have the others step down, leaving me and him alone. Beccas rolled up his left shawl and launched the Millenniumite directly in front of me. Not good, these superhumans are really cunning. This time, there was no headache like in the battle against Moran, and there was no physical discomfort. It seems that Beccas did not come with any ill intentions. Beccas said, "The boy you injured is indeed not an invited person. And you, Qiyu, you are not the invited person either. It's obvious that you're not here for the competition prize money, most likely you're here for my eye." Lying in bed, the Millennium Eye can see through people's hearts, which is indeed impressive, but I do not have a dual personality and can withstand Beccas's mental scan. Beccas continued, "I can see through your heart. 2 months ago, a small gang from the countryside defeated the Haima Group's Haima Sita people and suddenly became a star figure in Toyo City. In front of the person is a respected dueler, but behind the scenes is a greedy person for money, power, and women. Even the dagger that can contain supernatural phenomena is given to you by Mudo Shuangliu. From a mental reading perspective, you are indeed an ordinary person. But I can't see why you can change the world line." "What, world line?" "The Millennium Eye has other uses. I can't open my mouth because of my fright. Beccas doesn't need to torture me at all. He can dig out all the information from my heart." Beccas continued to mutter to himself, "You actually know the purpose of the Millennium Eye, and indeed you are not an ordinary person. The world line is the ability that Shady told me. He said that the gods have sent the Traverse to oversee the development of the world, and everyone's fate can be read from the Traverse through the Millennium Eye. That's you, isn't it, Mr. Qiyu? That god nagging Shady, really damn it. The terrifying superpowers of the Millennium Eye make it difficult for the identity of the traveler to be hidden. If Beccas knew about his tragic ending in the dueling kingdom, it wouldn't be over. The more you read, the more details of Duel Kingdom, Battle City, and Memory of the King are all associated." Lying in bed, thinking too much, he must have discovered it. Beccas was stunned by the vast amount of information in my heart. He had never seen anyone who could predict the future. He spent 5 minutes quietly calming down and said, "Qiyu Jun, so you know everything. I don't have any conflict of interest with Beccas, it's not a big deal to let him know some plot in advance. My goal is money, power, and women, followed by playing cards. His goal is to save his beloved wife. I said, actually, we can work together. You help me gain money, power, and status, and I help you resurrect your lover." Beccas thought that gathering all 7 divine tools to fulfill a wish was just a scam, and in the end, he could only summon ancient evil gods to destroy the world, directly dispelling the idea of gathering all 7 divine tools to resurrect his beloved. Beccas said, "Kyujin, let's work together. As long as you have a way to revive Cyndia, this Millennium Eye can be given to you as a reward. Out of respect for our partners, I guarantee that I will not use mental scanning on you in the future. The current situation is that the more you know, the more unfavorable it is for Beccas to resurrect Cyndia. Ignorance and superstition are the driving forces behind Beccas, otherwise he would only become a walking corpse from the past, not the current president of the International Illusion Society. I didn't expect to unintentionally insert willows and willows into the shade, and I actually made a deal directly with Beccas. In fact, the original plan was that after he was defeated by the game, I would personally go and pick his Millennium Eyes, and then use this to blackmail him to cooperate obediently. Okay, there's another person who knows the subsequent plot. God knows how much Beccas has learned from me, but I have prepared a 20-year development plan. What kind of cards to break? In the GX era, enter the universe. In the 5DS era, break through the dimensions, and maybe even break through the dimension wall and conquer the dual plane. Money, power, and women are just the first layer of desires in my heart. You should know that human greed has no limit, ha ha ha. Beccas saw me laughing wildly all by myself and didn't dare to explore my heart anymore. After I finished laughing, he said. Injured in Moliang, I sent someone to take him home. Picking the 1000-year wisdom wheel from him can also harm others. How can we handle this better? Mr. Qiyu. Anyway, the Millennium Artifacts cannot be collected by people, and scattered Millennium Artifacts are great weapons. The most useful ones are only 3. The Millennium Eye that can see through the human heart, the Millennium Tin Rod that controls the human heart, and the Millennium Jewelry that predicts the future. In my opinion, everything else is just chicken ribs, optional. I said, it's better to tell Moliang's parents that his child has symptoms of schizophrenia and multiple personalities. Your International Fantasy Society will fully compensate Moran for his medical expenses and arrange for him to receive the best treatment in the United States. As long as Moran doesn't encounter Doma in America, he won't make any noise. There is a bug in the world of Game King, which is that no matter how big an abnormal event occurs in America, the police can handle it properly. Moreover, Beccas' lair is Las Vegas, and hiding Moran in America is simply the top choice. Beccas nodded and asked me how the farce of the dueling kingdom would end. I don't know how to end it, this is the main storyline. Ibwa can't just go back to Toyo City. How much damage would it be to the world of Game King if Muto Games did not receive the title of Duel King? I just smiled bitterly and said, let it be natural, I hope the main plot can always continue in a strange way. If it's really chaotic, any dream or idea will come to nothing. Beccas knew he was destined to be defeated by the Muto game, but he didn't care. Anyway, I had already made a promise for him that he would definitely resurrect Cyndia. He is in a very good mood now. The nominal name of the Dueling King is up to anyone. Anyway, no matter how the Dueling King changes, his title as the father of dueling monsters will never change. Beccas and I talked a lot about how to revive Cyndia in the security room, which excited him a lot. The worldview of Game King is too complex, with countless strange and chaotic phenomena inside. In recent years, the mysterious power that has been able to fulfill Beccas' wish is the time machine in Super Fusion, crossing the boundaries of time and space, and the technology that breaks through the sky in The Dark Side of Dimension. The ancient mysterious power can only be described as superstition, and high technology is the strongest driving force in the world of Game King. Do you say Dazi, Atlantis? It's just an ancient civilization destroyed by the evil gods in another space, and because of Taikai, it will be destroyed. Chapter 9. Collection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Beccas left me his contact number, he let me go. It's not in vain that I spent 2 hours brainwashing him, and at most 20 years, I will definitely help him revive Cyndia. Without the curse of Moliang, I instantly felt that the dueling kingdom was no longer so dangerous. Those mysterious duelers are just ordinary people with no threat to their lives, that's great. Based on GPS positioning, I found the location of the 4 main characters in the group. Today, Takeo Games has already faced the insect moth, Kajiki Yute, and the deceased magician disguised as a lazy seahorse. And within the city, he also defeated Peacock Dance and Dinosaur Ryazaki. He thought Ryazaki was my nephew and even told me about his experiences after the game against Ryazaki. Within the city, I feel that my nephew, Dinosaur Ryazaki, is an outstanding dueler, and I was defeated only by bad luck. Next time I encounter Longqi, I will take on a challenge to test my progress and never lose face with my master. In the city, there is great rebellion and injustice. How dare you confront the teacher who bullied you? I kicked the city's buttocks hard. If the city really engages in Peacock dance, what kind of ambiguity will it cause? What should I do? What should I do to save face? Fortunately, the plot of the other main storylines did not change much. It was still like Ibwa had changed his personality after he came on stage, full of energy, completely unable to show his usual docile behavior. Inheriting Yeka's king style is always advantageous, and under the rule that the first generation cannot directly attack players, Exodia is synonymous with God. When Xingzi saw the completely new game, her heart was trembling. Her handsome actions and superb dueling skills hit her girl's heart after the game came on stage. Too handsome, game. It was late at night, and the 5 of us set up a tent on the mountaintop, encountering a peacock dance halfway through. This time her attention did not fall on me, but turned to the city where she had defeated him in the morning. I couldn't help but daydream as I stared at her proud figure. Now Peacock dance is 22 years old, just like a flower, it's really beautiful. Peacock dance paid no attention to us little perverts and said, during the day, we are the duels in battle. How about a truce at night? Of course, the 3 of us perverts agreed. With such a beautiful woman camping nearby, maybe we could even sneak a glimpse of her changing clothes in the tent. It's a bit exciting to think about it. Xingzi couldn't let the 3 of us succeed. She took the initiative to choose to live with Peacock dance, so that she wouldn't have to work hard to set up a tent at night. Unexpectedly, the 2 women protected each other, causing all our fantastical plans to fall through, especially in the city where his expression was the most painful and desperate. Although I know Peacock dance is an official match in the city, it doesn't prevent me from pursuing this woman. Anyway, all the big bosses in the dueling kingdom have been taken by my mouth run, so of course, I have free time to be attentive. Dinner time. I specially gave my wild food package to Peacock dance, which is the best Sichuan-flavored military hotpot to eat. Peacock dance was overjoyed after eating, and I could clearly see her sweat flowing from her fair neck into those 2 plump grooves. I have to settle for this woman, no one can stop me. Peacock dance said. Qiyu, I didn't expect you to be so careful. You can prepare delicious hot pot cooked food when you go out, especially the lion's head rice meat dumplings. It's so delicious. I love it. What I bring are all some Snickers, compressed biscuits, and so on, none of which are as delicious as 1,000th of yours. I opened another can of Coca-Cola for her. How could she enjoy hot pot without Coca-Cola? Peacock dance took Coca-Cola and drank it all in one gulp on the spot, hearty. Peacock dance took another fish ball and stuffed it into Cherry's small mouth, then said, Qiyu, do you know? This morning, while I was watching the martial arts game duel, I found him completely different before and after coming on stage. The enemy had already suppressed the situation on the duel field and was ready to give a fatal blow. In the final moments of the game, Muto always managed to come together and turn defeat into victory. After he came on stage, I felt like an ancient emperor, dominating the world and looking down upon him. The invincible Exodia is nothing more than a plaything in his hands. I comforted and said, Muto Games is a very promising dueler, and he is one of the winners of this competition. Dance, I suggest you avoid its sharpness, actually getting a runner-up is also good. I seem to have said something wrong, and the ambiguous atmosphere with the Peacock dance has been completely destroyed. Afterwards, Peacock dance thanked me for dinner and stayed with Apricot. I certainly know that Peacock dance is afraid of Wang Yang, but she always believes that women can hold up the sky, and giving up halfway is not in her life motto. She had planned to send the weakest AIBO out of the competition this morning. But when she saw that the originally thought to be a lowly game of Muto erupted with a different personality aura, manipulating the immensely powerful Exodia to send away the insect moths, she stopped this idea and instead went to battle within the city. In the main storyline, Exodia was thrown into the sea by an insect moth, making it impossible for the king to continue playing invincible in the dueling kingdom. My appearance changed old AI's fate. How could such a powerful card be in the sea? We must make these primitive people realize how outrageous the ancient rules they designed are, and quickly make these ignorant duelers accept the baptism of master rules. Unfortunately, I couldn't see the appearance of Wang Yang today. It remains to be seen whether having an invincible king like Exodia or a cunning boy watch is powerful. When it comes to the Memories of Wang chapter, it should be even more exciting. I really hope that Wang's sample can give AIBO a good beating. I've been watching AIBO for a long time and it's not very pleasing to me. Not only is it cowardly and concerned about apricots, but it also arrogantly teaches people how to play cards every day, which is simply misleading. Late at night, Apricot and Peacock Dance didn't go to bed so early, so they started talking in secret. The Peacock dances alone and acts freely. Xingzi was very curious about her elder sister's Peacock dance experience and asked, why did Miss Dance come to participate in the Dual Kingdom competition? Is it also for the prize money? Peacock Dance pondered for a moment and said, I used to work as a Dutch official in a casino on a ship, taking the opportunity to travel around the world. Every day, I distributed poker to those wealthy people, and met countless people immersed in money and power. This experience has also made me increasingly tired of such a human society. I came to the dueling kingdom because Beccas said that the dueling monster is going to bring a different kind of change to the world. And you, Xingzi, why are you together? Is it because you like that guy called Muto Games? Xingzi's face immediately turned red and she shyly said, what are you talking about? We are partners now. The peacock saw that Apricot was shy and difficult to poke, saying, I really envy your young and ignorant appearance. Every time I see you, it reminds me of something I once lost. This is the friendship between young people. Xingzi remembered the little moments of playing with Muto and the spirited appearance of playing with Muto in the morning. She whispered in a desolate voice, is that just friendship? Xingzi told Peacock Dance about her interesting stories with her friends on weekdays, as well as her emotional struggles today. The girl was confused and hoped that her older sister Peacock Dance could help her make up her mind. The Peacock Dance was also done by no one, so she could only be advised to let go and do it without regret. Just like fighting against oneself in the city in the morning, letting go and daring to give it your all is what makes life wonderful, isn't it? Chapter 10. Rescue Peacock Dance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After chatting with Xingzi for a while, Peacock Dance couldn't fall asleep anymore. In front of the young Xingzi, she couldn't give any useful advice, and her youth was gone forever. However, her youth did indeed pass through the casino on the ferry, so she prepared to go to the mountaintop to blow the wind and relax. As someone who has a slight understanding of the plot, I certainly know that tonight is not peaceful. I do not allow my reserved wife to accompany any unfamiliar man to play cards in the small forest. I quickly packed up my equipment and invited Honda and AIBO to patrol nearby within the city to avoid any accidents at night. After seeing Peacock Dance come out of the tent, the four of us walked straight towards the mountaintop. I instructed Muto Gaming to leave Honda to take care of Apricot. I will follow the city to avoid any mishaps with Peacock Dance. As expected, a strong man about 2.2 meters tall appeared in the forest, preparing to ambush my scheduled wife Peacock Dance. How can I bear this? I called him into the city and prepared to hit him unexpectedly, with Huang Ke at the back. I brought enough equipment for this competition. I distributed an electric baton within the city, with my left-hand engineer shovel and right-hand mountaineering pick, and a crystal dagger pinned to my waist. With a command, I and the two people in the city immediately rushed towards the strong man. The strong man is tall and powerful, with some unique skills in his hands, probably Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But 2 fists are difficult to defeat 4 hands, and a hero cannot withstand many people. Accustomed to street fights, a single electric baton in the city made the strong man numb half of his body, causing him to shake and lose his balance, clearly due to being electrocuted. I am not a vegetarian either. I locked my throat and grabbed it with my right hand behind my back, and then used joint techniques to control the strong man's left arm with my left hand. After being locked in by the killing techniques taught by the army, even those who are slightly knowledgeable dare to act recklessly. Fighting skills and killing skills are completely different. Killing skills emphasize speed, accuracy, and ruthlessness, and can kill with just one blow. The strong man realized that I was not good at picking on someone, and he immediately gave up. This is a show of bravado, maybe next second my neck will be twisted into fried dough twists. Peacock Dance was so frightened by the commotion that her face turned pale. She screamed and immediately hid behind the city. I said, "Don't panic, this man was sneaky and had ulterior motives just now. I and the city have already taken him down. City, hurry up and dig out the rope I prepared in your bag. Let's handcuff this guy first before we talk." The method of binding people in the city is very convenient. Soon a strong man of 2 meters was bound into Mizongzi. After settling down Peacock Dance, I immediately began questioning this man. The man claims to be a duel killer, specializing in snatching stars from the hands of duelers through duels. I laughed and said, "It's really a very simple set of values. You are a tall and imposing person. If it weren't for the help from within the city, I wouldn't have been beaten by you alone. Everything is solved by playing cards. Aren't you blind to such a good physique? Opening up the situation and directly using force to grab stars is not better. But I'm sorry, you his mother danced black hands on my scheduled wife Peacock, then you're dead. I don't have a good temper, I beat up this man again. Damn it, it's really durable. When I beat Moliang, I subdued him with a few punches. This strong man had to endure hundreds of punches in the city before starting to cry and beg for mercy. To be honest, my actions were not as heavy as those in the city. This kid's fists have never been trained before, they are all full of reckless energy, even heavier than well-trained boxers. If you can participate in boxing matches within the city, you will definitely be a lightweight champion. Playing cards to earn money and save your sister is better than participating in a boxing match and fighting. You have taken the wrong path, young man. Afterwards, the 3 apricots rushed over. Unexpectedly, the virgin apricot had a heart attack and asked me to let go of this man. The reason was that this man had not made any subjective mistakes yet. He, like other contestants, obtained stars through duels. It's just that the way you invite others to duel is a bit rough. I just fainted his mother, Kyoko Kiyosaki, you really are. You and Xiaobiao are a perfect match. If it weren't for my timely intervention, Peacock Dance might have died. Although this is a youth anime, is it possible that the changes in the world's timeline will directly lead to changes in the anime? It's not like you're in trouble. I firmly rejected Xingzi's proposal and said, if we just let him go like this, he will definitely use force to force other players to duel. Why don't we win all his stars through a duel, so that he can reform himself and rediscover his mistakes? How about killing 2 birds with 1 stone like this, Miss Apricot? My proposal is so good, how could Xingzi have any objections? After learning about the causes and consequences, the person involved, Peacock Dance, deeply hates this duel killer. I didn't expect the duel killer to think that Peacock Dance is the weakest among the 6 of us, just because she is the most beautiful woman, there is proper gender discrimination. Everyone was filled with indignation and wanted to vent their anger for Peacock Dance. They all took out their own decks and prepared to educate this duel killer well. Among them, he is the most active in the city. In the eyes of Peacock Dance sister, he is just a little brat with no hair growing. In the city, he needs to showcase his most masculine side in front of Dance sister. Why didn't I participate? Because I didn't even bring my deck to the island. Firstly, playing with these primitive people about village rules can make me extremely angry. Secondly, I don't want to disrupt the plot of the Dueling Kingdom. Of course, I can't be ineffective. I stuffed some cute cards that Apricot likes into the Dueling Killer deck. I hope the Dueling Assassin can remember the kindness of Senzaki Akiko. If it weren't for Akiko pleading for him, I would have thrown him into the sea and fed him to the sharks. Apricot gave way to AIBO gave way to the city, and the city gave way to Peacock Dance. In the end, everyone decided to let Peacock Dance personally educate this duel killer and let him know the consequences of insulting female duelers. As for Honda, it seems like he said he wanted to play with the duel killer, but everyone instinctively ignored him. What a miserable person. The duel begins, Peacock Dance faces the duel killer. In the original plot, Peacock Dance was a solo battle between a duel killer in a small forest. Now she is not fighting alone, and she already has many companions cheering for her off the field. The duel assassin was beaten by the city and me to a point where he couldn't even open his eyes. Climbing onto the duel platform was staggering. If he fell from that high platform, he would be either dead or injured, so he was very careful with every step. Before taking the stage, I warned him not to speak trash and to fight well. If he dares to speak disrespectfully of my reserved wife Peacock Dance, I will directly chop him up and throw him into the sea. Do you know Beccas? He is my partner. This island is all his territory, and it's normal for people to go missing during the competition, right? Now the duel killer's forehead is constantly bleeding and his mind is buzzing. This was slapped by the most handsome man with a military shovel. The yellow-haired boy can recover even with a heavy punch, and the most handsome man probably wants his own life. Dueling assassins suffer indescribably, these people are preparing to kill him. First, he was beaten up by the two of them, and then a girl popped up to teach him to behave like a gentleman and not to rudely invite him to a duel.